Welcome to Impact Slammiversary review, my friends. Welcome. We're going to review Slammiversary 2020 and talk about some of the stuff that happened, the surprises, and also remember this is brought to you by King of Wrestling Podcast. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, and Pandora. Give us that 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. This is also brought to you by Hoppy's Wrestling Show. Check them out on YouTube. Just hit the subscribe button and notification bell on them. Also, if you want to get some official King of Wrestling Podcast merchandise, check out storefrontier.com, KOW Podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and check us out and hit the notification bell as well. Thank you. Welcome to the Slammiversary Review Show. Welcome in, Ultimate Gallows, and do your pitch.
What's going on, sir? What's going on, man? Good little pay-per-view tonight, sir.
Yeah, it wasn't worth $40, but I'm gonna just say this.
No, it was not worth $40, but it had that big show feel for some of the matches, not for others.
It did, and my thing is, this could have been an Impact Plus special. I'm gonna just go ahead and shoot this out there for Impact. If anybody from Impact is listening, not that you're a bad product, not at all.
No.
But the thing is, you need to realize you don't need a $40 pay-per-view. If you're going to do this, you need to do it at least at $15 to $20 because you have no crowd.
Yeah.
Impact needs a crowd. Impact needs a crowd.
Yeah, they do. It feels weird. I've gotten used to it, but it still feels weird with nobody there.
It does. But we're going to jump into it. Let's jump into our first match of the night, the Rascals Open Challenge. Me and you talked about this. I picked whoever the Rascals was taking on, which I won that, but it wasn't who I said it was going to be. I said it was going to be the Good Brothers. It turned out to be Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns.
That's surprising because I could have swore I heard like 8 months ago that Shelley was retiring and going into like EMT work or something like this, and then boom. Because Sabin's still been wrestling off and on, but I ain't seen Shelley in over a year probably.
Whoa. What are you talking about in over a year? Let's go back to a couple of months ago. He was just in NXT.
Shelley was?
Yeah, he teamed with Kushida and took on. We didn't know if he was going to get back with or if he was going to make his, a debut in WWE.
Yeah. I don't watch NXT. NXT is one of the things I try to watch, but the only way I can watch is on Hulu, and I hate missing matches, so I just don't watch NXT. I completely forgot about that, yeah.
Yeah, he come in on that. I was hoping he was going to get a WWE contract, and I guess he either didn't get one or he just turned it down, and now he's back in Impact. And him and Chris Sabin came out. Look, these guys are not young guys no more, and they
up there.
And they tore the house down. And I thought it was a good opening match.
Well, it's a good matchup because the Rascals kind of got that high-flying, move after move style. And the Motor City Machine Guns were one of the first teams in the U.S. to really do that back in the early days. Well, not early days TNA, beat up the days of TNA. Because I remember, didn't the Motor City Machine Guns have like a really good run against what was the Young Bucks called in TNA? Was it Generation Me or something like that?
Yeah, Generation X or something.
Yeah,
Generation
New. Good run with what was it when it was Robert Roode and James Storm? Was that Beer Money?
Beer Money, yeah.
Yeah, they had some really good tag runs. So once I saw who it was, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a good little match. Go ahead and start the show because you got a good, high, fast energy match. Get the crowd that's not there, but the crowd at home hyped up for the show,
Yeah, well, my wife really popped because she's a big Alex Shelley fan. She's a big Motor City Machine Guns fan, and she really popped for it. So I thought this was a good opening match, and I thought it started out in a good way.
They did. It was a great way to start the show. And the match wasn't, it was a bright length. It was a little bit under 15 minutes. That's a good way to start the show. A little 15-minute, quick match, get everybody excited, then you go,
Exactly. Well, up next, we had our match, which I enjoyed, is the TNA World Heavyweight Championship match. Josh Matthews said this had a championship feel. It smelled like a championship match, but it's not. It was TNA's World Champion Moose taking on Tommy Dreamer, and they pulled out all the stops, I'd say.
Man, they brutalized each other. Jesus. Tommy, I love Tommy to death, but man, I'm ready for Tommy to retire. I'm afraid he's going to get hurt badly in the ring and not be able to enjoy, what he's got left of his life. It's like, Tommy, it's time to, hang up them boots sometime soon, Tommy. You ain't getting any younger,
Well, exactly, but I'll say this. It looked like Tommy Dreamer was going to pull out the victory. He did not, though. Moose did. Right now, we're 2-0 starting out on our picks, or I am at least.
I'm pretty sure I picked Moose too. So yeah, we're doing fairly good. And it's just me as Tommy Dreamer. The older he gets, the more and more in ring he reminds me of Terry Funk, like ECW era Terry Funk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, exactly. And I thought this was. I thought it was so far. Here we go. We got 2 good matches in.
Yep.
Up next. Oh my gosh. The
Gauntlet for the gold.
The number 1 contenders knockout gauntlet for the gold was kind of treated like a Royal Rumble, and then it became a singles match at the end. And
he's done this for a while. They have like a Royal Rumble, and the last 2 in the ring, he goes to pinfall. And I've seen, I like that idea. I've seen that used in some indies, and it works. Have a big 30-man fight, and then the last 2 in the ring, they go to a regular match. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, it was good, and then it started out with Tasha Steelz and Kylie Ray. Kylie Ray was my pick, and I saw her come out first or second. I was just kind of like, well,
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, I think Brandon might have picked the wrong person.
Exactly. Then, Johnny Bravo came out as Tyra Valkyrie, and then he went out and got eliminated. And then it was, who else was it? It was Kimberly come out. Then it was Kiera Hogan. Then Susie came out. Then Kyrie Ray super kicked Tasha Steelz off the top rope and eliminated her. Then Katie Forbes come out. And Katie Forbes, I'm not impressed with her. The only reason she's there is because she's got a big butt.
She's only there because of Rob Van Dam. I mean, come on.
Well, that's true, too.
Dude, straight up, the worst women's match I've ever seen live was a Katie Forbes match.
Yeah. And then you had Madison.
The Wildcat, and she was not good, and she hadn't improved that much.
No, she really hadn't. Then Madison Rayne came out. Then Havoc came out. And then we had Taya finally come out after we thought it was her, it was Johnny Bravo. And then Tyra eliminated Katie Forbes. Alicia came out. Then Nevaeh entered. And then Rosemary comes out. And then right after Rosemary comes out, Johnny Bravo comes out as Rosemary. And, of course, he eliminates Havoc. And he eliminated Havoc. And
Havoc's bigger than Johnny Bravo. I figured it'd take 2 people to get her out,
Well, Kylie Ray they had her up against the ropes, and he just came and lifted her over. But Kylie Ray then eliminated Bravo and Madison Rayne. And then we get to the last part of the match, which was Nevaeh and Alicia get eliminated. I didn't even see how Susie got eliminated. But anyway, it come down to Kylie Ray and Tyra, and Kylie Ray picked up the win, and that was my pick on the night, and she did get the win. So I thought this was...
Yeah, she beat my pick. I was picking Talia or Having, and Kylie won it, man. Smiley Kylie won again.
So I think that was a good one. The match, it was all right. I mean, I'm sorry.
It's a little long, but it's a battle royal, so they're going to be a little long. But it wasn't. It could have been better, but I'm trying to figure out, who did Katie Forbes replace? Because I don't remember seeing her listed in the lineup a couple of days ago.
Let me look and see, because I got the list right here, because that's what I was thinking.
It's in front of me.
Let's see here. We had Kiera Hogan, Susie, Rosemary, Nevaeh, Tasha, Kylie Ray, Alicia, Havoc, Kimberly, and Madison Rayne. So she was just thrown in there, I guess. She didn't replace nobody.
Yeah, I didn't remember, because I would have seen her name, and I'm like, that's going to ruin the match. Katie Botch-tastic Forbes. I mean, the woman that's made Botchamania more than anybody I know.
Yeah, she's not any good. But anyway, so we get through that match, and then up next, Heath Slater shows up. I've got kids, baby. I've got kids is in Impact. He gets told later on in the night that he has to leave because of the COVID situation, because he doesn't work there. He was looking for an opportunity. Well, we know. But it was good seeing Heath Slater show up.
It's just weird that Heath looks so huge in this.
No, I think, you know what? I was saying that Raju is either really, really small, because, Heath is not a big guy, but he looked like a monster over this guy.
I think it's because we're so used to WWE where, the average height is 6'3", so Heath looks small there. You bring him in TNA, he's a monster. It's kind of like Billy Gunn. You see him in WWE, okay, he's just a normal guy. You see anyplace else, like Billy Gunn is tall, you just don't realize it,
Yeah, he's, like, in AEW, he's taller than about 95% of the roster.
AEW, a 5'4" kid's taller than most of the roster. Come on now.
Yeah, AEW is a kid's show. Seriously, they're so small. There's none of them that could actually win a legit fight there. And except for maybe Hager, Moxley, and some of them, the bigger ones.
I actually think it would probably be good in a real fight, even though he's getting older. Dustin Rhodes, I think, could hold his own in a good fight.
Yeah, Dustin could, but I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the little micros that they got running around, like the Young Bucks and all them.
You mean the minis they imported up from Mexico?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna catch heat for that. You know that. You can't hate on the Young Bucks, man. Don't you? If you hate on the Young Bucks, you're not a true wrestling fan. Haven't you heard that already?
Well, I don't do that. I guess I'm not a true wrestling fan. I am a true wrestling fan. The ones that
we are.
The ones that
I think between the two of us, we have almost 100 years of wrestling fandom. Come on now.
The ones that think the Young Bucks are the greatest thing walking, or they're great ring comparison. We're going to get to our next match, which I've already pulled up here. It's Willie Mack and Chris Bay for the X Division Championship. But before I do, the Young Bucks, they're not. They're little mini people that think they're the baddest thing on the planet. The only reason they didn't go to WWE is because they would be buried at the bottom of the barrel because they're not drawers. They couldn't draw a casual fan if the casual fan was sitting in front of them. That's just my opinion.
Thank you for phrasing that right. They can draw, but they were going to draw them hardcore fans. They're not going to draw the casuals, and that's what you got to draw now to make a profit. You've got to get some casuals.
You can have your die-hardcore fans, and it's only going to get you so far. There's no growth with the hardcore fan division. You got to get those casual fans, and a lot of people think that just because you got those diehards, it's going to make it. No, because the thing with the diehard fans is, you can depend on them to be there, but you want to grow your company. You don't want to just stay stagnant, and that's what AEW is doing.
Exactly, they're very stagnant. But that next match, man, that X Division, match of the night for me, sir. Match of the night.
Well, we got a new champion, and his name is Chris Bay, and I'm glad you said that was your match of the night, but it was not my match of the night. It was a good match. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Chris Bay. I'm a big fan of Willie Mack. Chris Bay did pick up the win. That was my pick again. And
that surprised me. I thought Willie was going to win it. I didn't think they were going to let Chris win it this quick. Actually, I think I might have said Chris, but man, that surprised me. I was expecting Willie to hold it longer, but man, Chris Bay is just one of those guys that, why is he just getting known on a national stage now? He's been floating around for at least 5 or 6 years.
Exactly, and he's big name. I mean, he's been an indie darling. He's a good talent, and it's about time he got there. So that was a good match, and pulled it up as that. Up next, after that, I didn't win another pick for the rest of the night. So let's go with this.
We were talking about this. I was like, man, it's like your luck ran out after that match.
It did, because we got the North taking on Sammy Callahan and Shamrock. I thought this was a decent match. Yes, none other than the North retained the tag team championships. They are still the longest reigning Impact tag team champions, and I believe that may come to an end this Tuesday when they meet the Motor City Machine Guns.
That's what I'm thinking, because, man, they've been pushing that on TV and everywhere. How long they've been holding the belt for, so I thought they were losing tonight, but then the North pulled through, and I'm glad, because they're probably one of the best tag teams in North America right now.
Whoa, did you forget about FTR?
I'll say it again. They're probably still one of the best tag teams in North America. I love FTR, but I think North's better.
All right, somebody's been doing cocaine today. Anyway, it was a decent match, and then up next came my match of the night: Jordynne Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo, and wow, this was a good match. It really was.
It was almost my match of the night. It was really, really good, and they pulled both of us, man. Neither one thought Jordynne was going to lose, and she lost. Yeah,
and here's Deonna has Deonna pulled out the championship. She is the new Impact Knockouts Women's Champion, or however you want to phrase it. But I thought it was a good match. This was my match of the night. I thought they really tore the house down, and they didn't need a crowd. Everything in this match was spot on to me.
And not only that, but also it sets up a good feud later on. She'll have Kylie versus Deonna. That's going to be a good little match.
Yeah, it really is. Well, up next, we got our next match, and it's the main event for Impact, and everybody was standing up. Everybody was excited to see who was going to come in and do this. We had Ace Austin. We had Eddie Edwards and Trey fighting for the vacant Impact World Heavyweight Championship. Who was the mystery person? Well, it turned out to be Rich Swann, which was a big letdown for me.
Dude, that was like they just popped my balloon when that happened. Like, really, Rich Swann, really?
But then I looked at my wife and I said they worked this because I knew that somebody was coming out, and none other than Eric Young comes out, and he's the fifth man. It went from being a four-way back to a five-way. Eric Young comes in, and now I'm sitting here thinking, well, my fourth pick, I said whoever the fourth man was going to win it, and the fourth man was Rich Swann. That did not happen, though. Eric Young, though, did put on a good show as his Impact return happened, but Eddie Edwards pulls out the Impact World Heavyweight Champion. He's an Impact World Heavyweight Champion again. I thought, honestly, besides Eric Young, I thought that Eddie Edwards was the only legitimate one to win the Impact World Heavyweight Champion and he did it.
I agree with you totally, because, I mean, nothing against Ace Austin or, Trey or even Rich Swann, but they're not world title level yet. They're all X Division tag level, It felt like, with all the stuff going on in TNA and the Impact having to lose, a bunch of talent recently, they were really hurting for main event level talent, and this match kind of showed it,
It really did, and I'm sorry. I know you had to put somebody in there. You really didn't have to put Trey in there. Trey had no business being in this main event. Trey is a mid-carder at best. That's just, I mean, he's a good talent. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
but he's not going to ever be a main event star. He's not going to be your main guy. He's not going to be the company's main guy. But overall,
the Gordon, Trey's never going to make it above the Rascals, and Trey probably never make it above Impact level. They're good, but there's just little things that they need to work on if they think that if they're ever going to make like AEW or WWE or New Japan or whatever.
Yeah, that's really because Impact right now is the ceiling for the Rascals. That's basically it. But yeah, I thought Ace Austin had a good showing in this. I thought that Eric Young had a good showing in this, and Eddie Edwards had a good showing. Eddie picked up the victory, but afterwards, Madman Fulton come out. He attacks Edwards, and so does Ace Austin. They're beating him up, and then out comes the Good Brothers. And the Good Brothers, it looks like they was going to align with Ace Austin and Madman Fulton, and then they turned on him and cuttered Austin, and then just took Fulton out, and then they just took care of Austin again, and then there they were. It was Eddie Edwards and the Good Brothers drinking beers as Impact's Slammiversary went off the air. And the second it went off the air, we got 3 marks, and guess who's back?
EC3.
EC3 is back in Impact. I'm glad to see this. Right.
There, they know how to use him. WWE has wasted a great talent twice. When he was there, Bateman, they wasted him. When he came back to EC3, they wasted him.
They have. They've wasted me so much potential in this guy. I honestly, in my opinion, I think this is who they should have brought back and won the world title tonight. That's my opinion. He could have carried it.
He's another former Impact World Champion. People are used to seeing him at that level. It might have been one of them cases where he just couldn't make it to the event, so they did what they did, and might be later on the road we have Eddie Edwards versus EC3,
Exactly. That's true. There's a lot of truth to that, and we'll see what happens. But also, that was the end of Slammiversary. Overall, what would you give this rating of the show? From A being A plus being the best and an F minus being the worst.
I would say C minus. It's a little bit below average.
I'm gonna concur with you on that. I'm gonna give it a C minus as well. Well, no, you know what? I'm gonna give it a D plus.
A D plus, okay.
I didn't. I mean, it was okay. It's just this is not a pay-per-view. I mean, no, it was not a pay-per-view.
Like even I said earlier, it should have been something they showed over like 2 nights on Impact, or had they used to do the specials on Impact Plus, Impact versus Reality Wrestling, stuff like that. That's where it should have been, not for $40. This was not $40 worth of wrestling to me.
No, it wasn't. It wouldn't even been a $40 ticket if it had been live. It's just
no. This would have been one of those. If I got a $10 ticket to see it live, I would have got my money's worth. Man, 40.
Yeah, 40, you're stretching it. I would have done it on the Impact Plus as well as a special or something like that. But as far as that goes, D plus for me, C minus for you. I think that Slammiversary just did not deliver, and I'm not saying it in a bad way. It's hard to deliver when you don't have a crowd, and a lot of you're restricted on a lot of stuff that you can do, with it.
No, that's also their rosters. Like they've been hurt so bad with people being fired, people leaving, and all that. But it felt like they had to scramble for this show. They really had to scramble to put together a show even at this level because they lost so many people recently. I mean, they lost a lot of their main event talent in like 1 week period.
Exactly, but I'm just going to say this: that overall, I enjoyed the show. It just wasn't worth $40.
The This is one of those, if I'd seen it on like Impact over 2 nights, I'd probably give it a C+ or a B-. But having to pay for it? No.
That's what brought it down to a D+ for me. But anyway, we're going to start wrapping up. Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Not really. I'm glad that Eddie Edwards got another world title run. I mean, I'm really happy about that, and I'm glad the Motor City Machine Guns are back. You know, one thing that shocked me is I was expecting an Aces and Eights reunion tonight, or
Me too.
Ray showing up. It didn't happen, but I got a feeling the next couple weeks on Impact, we're going to see some crazy stuff.
I think Impact Tuesday night's going to be good. I think we're going to see some stuff on Impact. I think Slammiversary, like you said, they was just kind of thrown together. They didn't really want to throw everything out there, I don't think.
Right.
But anyway, we want to thank you for joining us. Remember, check out us on King of Wrestling Podcast. We got the Deathmatch Samurai Akira coming up this Tuesday. It's we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcast, and Pandora. Thank you for joining us right here on the Slammiversary review. We'll see you probably tomorrow night on a review of Extreme Rules, the horror show that is Extreme Rules, or whatever it is.
I can't wait for it, man. I can't wait to see the Rey Mysterio's eyeball pop out.
Well, y'all have a good one. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
You are listening to Turner Podcast